Ladies and gentlemen, James Roday and Dulé Hill.
Scooch right over here. We're gonna do a group photo. On the count of 3, I want you guys to go nuts. Ready? This is gonna be in the newspaper. You guys will see yourself. Ready? 1, 2, 3. What's happening, psychos? We love you too. What? All right now.
So one more time for James Roday and Dulé Hill. Well, let's start it out with some easy questions, and then we'll jump to some people in the audience. First, we're holding this pineapple. Here's our McDuffin. What's the origin of our pineapple?
Roday.
Well, it's the international welcoming fruit. Makes people all over the world feel good. It's crisp, it's citrusy.
It's full of delicious flavor.
Yeah. And it also became an iconic symbol of the fellowship that exists on Psych. Yeah.
Should we slice it up and share it with everybody?
I'd love to do that.
Most definitely. I remember when we did the pilot, and it was really just I guess a foreshadowing of how it was going to be for the next 8 years working with Roday, because it wasn't in the script. It was just sitting up on top of a refrigerator, and he said the line, and as I walked out, he goes, "You want me to slice this up for the road?" And I know it was going to be out the show, and then it was going to be in the show, and they kept going back and forth, and finally they decided to put it in there. And I'm sure they didn't realize it was going to have the effect that it did when it did, but pineapples are the best.
I was feeling loose, because I just figured it was another pilot that was never going to go anywhere, so. Nothing to lose.
Now, you were originally cast first, Roday, in the pilot to do this. How did we find Dulé?
I accidentally wandered onto the set of The West Wing. He was sitting in a corner going, "Man, no one will let me be funny ever." Just come with me.
And that's what it was. It was like this bright, laughing light, just drawing me closer. Yes. I couldn't help but keep laughing. I was crying at first because I was on the drama, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, they won't let me do any laughing stuff." And then Roday walked in, and all of a sudden, he went from a cry to a laugh. It was like,
So was the chemistry there? You had never worked before this show. There's so much of the show is about your internal chemistry together. How quickly did that come together for you?
For me, it came together fairly quickly because I really respected Roday's work. I respected how brilliant he was off the top of the dome, really. I was so used to just doing the words that was on the page, and Roday is like one of those Six Flags roller coasters. But I really I respected his approach to the work, and I thought he was a very talented brother, and I was looking forward to the chance to work with him.
Yeah, we sat down together when we watched Lethal Weapon, the Say video. What else?
Maybe some Hall & Oates.
Some Hall & Oates.
And of course, some Tears for Fears.
So my buddy Steve Valentine was one of the guest stars on your 100th episode as Billy Lips. He said, "Oh yeah,
give it up for Billy Lips."
It's him, Steve said that what he loved about working on your show is exactly what you talked about, that you guys were willing to go there. You were willing to take ideas from everybody, that there was this real family environment there, and you kept a lot of the crew for the entire 8 years. Can you speak to that?
Well, we all were just, thankful and happy to have a job, and the respect really. I think anytime you can be in an environment where everyone is respecting everybody and appreciating what each person has to offer to the equation, it will go a long way. And that's how it was on the set of Psych. It wasn't, okay, Roday knows it all, or I know it all, or Steve Franks knows it all. Like, ideas can come from anywhere. So it was very open playground, I guess. And we would come to work and just laugh every day. And that's why I think the crew hung around.
Yeah, we actually watched babies get born and then be in the 3rd grade. Yeah, we watched 4th graders graduate from high school. Like, it really was a giant family. It was a really special experience. Nobody wanted to leave. I don't think people are used to laughing that much every single day. And ultimately being able to call it like work, like in quotes. But yeah, again, just a testament to the fact that I think everybody knew how good it was while it was happening. It wasn't one of those things where we look back and it's like, oh man, if only we'd taken time to appreciate it. Like, we knew that it was, going to be one of the special experiences that we ever had in our lives. Yeah.
And our A camera operator, Marco Ciccone, he makes great espresso and great limoncello. So that goes a long way when you know that you can go to the camera truck and get some espresso and limoncello.
You talk about how working together, I've heard you talk about how working together for 8 years was like almost like having a romance with someone.
Yeah. You have to remember, when you figure in high school, you're in high school for 4 years, and you go to college for another 4 years, that's 8 years of your life. And then how tight are you with some of your high school friends or some of your college friends? We spent 8 years together, which is the addition of combining both of those experiences. So I mean, those relationships, I believe, will last a lifetime. I think we're all so connected together at the heart.
Dulé still owes me $40.
So a successful show on television is one that gets past the pilot, right? An incredibly successful show is one that makes it through, 5 years, right, on their 5-year mission. But you went 8. What do you think the touchstone was that drew the fans in, kept the network interested USA for 8 years? What was the special magic, Roday?
Honestly, that's the special magic.
Psychos.
I feel like we did, we did the best that we could. We never got complacent. We always wanted to try and top what we had done a season before and all that stuff. But ultimately, like, there came a point where it was like, okay, we kind of get what this show is and what these guys are doing. We can't reinvent the wheel at that point. We just need people that.
You need some help?
No, I'm good.
Yeah. All right. Come on, son.
I think the tech crew was just telling us to suck it.
Yeah, seriously. All I was gonna say is there comes a point where it's like, look, this is what it is, this is what we do, and the reason it lasted so long is because we have incredible fans who just wanted to keep watching it. That's really what it comes down to.
Dulé, you have a big Broadway career. I saw you in Bringing the Noise, Bringing the Funk. It looks like someone told you to break a leg.
Yes, and that person was James Roday.
Do you miss performing on Broadway? Are you still doing a lot of shows on Broadway?
Whenever I get the opportunity to go, I go back. I love the stage. That's where I started. That's where I honed my skills. And
Started as a tap dancer, if you don't know.
Yes. And once a tap dancer, always a tap dancer. You see, so I love the art form, and whenever I have a chance to go back, I always do. I love the stage, and I was just there, I think, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I did a show called After Midnight, which was a musical. And then we'll see what comes next. Next time I have a chance, if anybody has a Broadway musical out there for me to do, please, any of you, call me.
He really wants to be in the traditional ones like Oklahoma and Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
Exactly.
He's just too short. It's a Ben Vereen line.
Don't dig it.
Yeah, so good. But you have a movie coming up soon about magicians. You went from being psychic to being a magician.
Yeah, I gotta stay in that magical world. I either have to work with a psychic or work with a magician. But I did a movie called Slight. It comes out April 28th. And it's about a young adult who is a street magician who's forced to take care of his young sister as his mother passes away. And in order to make ends meet, he gets caught up into the local LA drug trade. And of course he goes in too deep. And then he has to use his magical powers, his sleight of hand, in order to get himself out of the situation he's put himself in. And I am his local business supplier. But it's the first time that I get to play every superhero origin story has to have an arch villain. And I play a guy named Angelo, who in this origin story is the arch villain of our lead, Jacob Lattimore. So I think it's gonna be a good journey. And if you like Gus, you may not like Angelo. Angelo is the antithesis of Gus. He's the completely opposite of him. But it's a fun role I think folks will enjoy. So come on and check us out, April 28th.
Yes, if you like David Blaine or Chris Angel, this will be better. So
there it is.
So Roday, you've been a director, a writer. You directed many episodes of Psych. Talk to us about your journey. You've directed some movies since Psych. Tell us about being a director and writer, the piece off the stage we don't get to see as much.
You say the beast off the stage? I like that. That was writing and directing is something I was always sort of equally interested in. You never know which opportunities are going to come first or ever. And acting happened first for me, which I'm obviously very thankful for. But then Psych was sort of the treasure chest that opened up and allowed me to start doing those other things and learning how to do them and hopefully getting better at them. And it opened up a floodgate, and I really got bit hard by the directing bug. And for the last couple of years, I gotta say, I've been focusing almost exclusively on directing, just to sort of see how far I can take that and in how many directions I can take that. So we'll see what happens. Not that I'm by no means retired as a performer, but around about the same time that Dulé was making Slight, I actually made a little film called Pushing Dead, which is, I think, hitting every single LGBT festival ever created on the earth. I think it's hit all of them, and it's still hitting all of them. And it's a good little film that sheds a light on the HIV positive community and what it's like to live and not be able to afford meds. And it kind of shines a light on a little corner that I don't think a lot of us think about if we don't have that in our life or don't know someone who's being affected by that. So that was a very satisfying experience as an actor. Everything else has been behind the camera, and I think it's all leading towards me making another movie, which hopefully will happen very soon. Yeah.
Well, this is Utah, the land of the Sundance Film Festival, so if you have any connections, we need his videos here. We need the movies here. Let's open it up to some questions from the audience, and then we'll do some more. First in the front row, we have magician Eric Warner.
What's happening, Eric?
How you doing? What's up, dude?
Hey, James and Dulé. This question is for James. As Sean Spencer, you would introduce Gus as some either famous or ridiculous name. Who would you introduce him as to us today?
Think about it.
Black Hole Sundance. See what I did there, everybody?
I'm Jewish, you're black, you're half Hispanic. If a bomb went off right here, half the diversity of Utah dead. Next question.
Hi, I'm Tisha, and I had a question for both of you. You guys have had a lot of guest stars on the show, from Anthony Rapp to Ali Sheedy to Carrie Elways. Do you have a favorite guest star or someone that was just so memorable for you when you would do an episode?
Who did you love? Who would you want in another episode?
Well, for me, that's easy. I would go with Shatner. I mean, William Shatner is William Shatner. I was really impressed with his work ethic and what he was able to do and how game he was to come and play, and he just knocked it out the park. I mean, he was the top, utmost professional, and I really loved working with Shatner.
Yeah, that was
Billy Shatz.
Billy Shatz. That was pretty cool. I've always sort of been impressed with the guest stars that were able to come in and make a character like within the sort of mythology of Psych, which is so crazy that really stuck and came back more than once, so that we kept figuring out ways to like write in even after they were dead. So I know Carrie's walking around here, so obviously we love Carrie, and he's not dead. But I also have soft spots for Ali Sheedy and Jimmy Simpson, because I feel like they both brought a lot to our show.
The question was one, Roday. It was one.
I answered
You just
three.
cheated on the answer.
I gave 3.
Thank you. Next question.
My name is Eliza, and I'm just curious what your favorite pineapple cameo was.
It's tough, Eliza, because the truth is there were probably at least 100 episodes where we didn't actually know where the pineapple was. Until well afterwards.
What's the episode where we were writing on a whiteboard? I think Steve may have been directing the episode, maybe. And was John Rhys Davies in that episode where we put it on in the equation? It was a little pineapple that was drawn. I was like, oh, that's pretty slick. I said, you all got that off. That's impressive.
There are YouTube compilations of the pineapple. You can search for that.
Hi, my name is Emma. Sorry. And I was wondering what both of your favorite musical productions that you've ever been in was, and why.
Musical productions, for me, I have to go with Bring the Noise, Bring the Funk. I mean, I'm a tap dancer at heart. I've known Savion Glover since I was 10 years old. We started out in this business together, and to be able to be a part of that project, which was, coming out of his brain and his abilities was awesome. To be in a room full of tap dancers every day. I mean, Gregory Hines would come by and just stop by and join us on stage. It was pretty a memorable time.
I too enjoyed my experience at Bringing the Noise, Bringing the
It was
Funk.
great having you there, man. It was great having you there.
But I don't.
Noise Funk was about the African American experience in America, and Roday really was a bright light there.
Al Jolson and Roday.
I think I have to go with Psych the musical, actually. Yeah. I did a really bad production of Les Mis when I was 19, so it wasn't like it was a tough choice for me.
You knew how to dance.
Yeah, I don't know why. I feel like I busted out moves pretty consistently over the course of the whole show, so I don't know why that was such a shock to everybody.
I mean, he did dazzle and stretch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I got the moves like Jagger, I always have.
Now, if you buy the compilation DVD set, the musical was actually came out in season 7, but on the DVD set, it's on the season 8 special features. So make sure to go buy that and hunt it down. Next question. Say again? You can buy it on its own. Buy it on its own too. Buy everything. Next question.
So in a few of the episodes, you've commented on Henry Spencer's shirts. What is your position on them in real life?
Like a Tommy Bahama type shirt. How do I feel about that in life? I say if you can pull it off, then you should. it does feel like more of a patriarchal move to me. I certainly couldn't rock the Tommy Bahama, but yeah, I mean, I feel like a man or a woman lives a certain amount of time on this earth, and if at that point it makes sense for them to wear those shirts and that makes them happy, then they should do that.
I'm Rose, and I was just wondering about the nicknames. It's another nickname question. Did you guys come up with the nicknames yourselves, or was it the writers? And then did you have a favorite nickname throughout the whole show?
Well, I think the nicknames first started by Roday. Again, working with Roday is like being at a roller coaster at Six Flags. He really just came and dropped this one line on me, and I believe it was Gus Silly Pants Jackson. And I remember when we did the scene afterwards, I was like, what did you call me? So for myself, that's been my favorite one, because that was the one that started the whole thing. And then I think over the years, like it used to come from Roday, then it would come from us, then the writers started getting into it, and then even sometimes other crew members would have ideas of people to throw in. Then we started naming it after friends and relatives. Like one, Lavender Gooms, is actually my great aunt. She has now passed away, but during that time she was alive, and she got a kick out of just hearing her own name on television.
Shout out to the great aunt.
I like the ones that gave you something to do, like with your hands or something as I said it.
Yes. Like jazz hands?
Yeah. Somebody's nickname was U-turn, and you did like yeah.
It's amazing how many...
No, you know which one I like too was
Bad News Brown?
Yeah, was it Bad? Yeah, Bad News Brown. I was like, I had bad news.
It's amazing how many random improv moments became consistent callbacks throughout the show.
Yes.
The Don't Be's also were like, there's a stupid thing that I can say that will never matter, and then cut to 8 years later, there's every episode, there's like a list of 15 alts of what the Don't Be can be. Yeah.
Even like I said, for example, Come On Son. What happened with that is, we spent a lot of time on set, so, I'd be in my trailer just going through YouTube and all that kind of stuff, and I came across Ed Lover's his YouTube thing about Come On Son. And I was crying. I was in there laughing my butt off. So I hit up Roday and I said, you gotta come see this thing, man. You gotta come see it. And he came into my trailer and we were watching it, and we're both on the floor, and then they called us into set. So then when they called us into set, that's when we came up with the Come On Son. And I said, don't do Ed Lover on me. That's not it. From there it became a whole life of its own.
On other shows like Westworld, you could throw stuff in like that anytime too, right?
Oh yeah, of course. Westworld, West Wing, anything with a West.
West Wing. I was on a Westworld panel last night. My brain is falling out. Next question.
Were there any pranks pulled off set that you could share about?
What's this? Does anyone know the statute of limitations on misdemeanors committed? British Columbia. It was always funny when people would mess with Dulé's food.
Yes.
You don't separate Dulé from his food. That's a lesson that you learn very early on. It's like he was born in a prison. I'm not sure exactly what the genesis of that is, but I remember one time his buddy Jaleel White came up, and and Jaleel and Dulé go way back, and Dulé had like a PB&J roughly every day at about the same time.
I'm a creature of habit.
And Jaleel took a big old bite out of it, and then like wrapped it back up. And then we all sort of like went and hid behind a bush or something. We watched Dulé open it up, and then like there wasn't even like a moment of levity or like, who did this? It was just stone cold. It was just, he opened up the sandwich and he was like, who did this? It's like me, Jaleel, Keaton Thompson, like on the ground behind a bush. Like children, just like little kids. Just
this went on for hours. Like nobody would say who did it. And of course, it's gonna drive me crazy. Like somebody took a bite out of my sandwich, and I need to know who it is. We're gonna do this next take, and afterwards, I need an answer.
Is there a special recipe to the Dulé PB&J?
No, there isn't. No, just just a lot of jelly, a lot of peanut butter, and life is good.
Okay, we found Waldo. Oh no, you got coming up next?
Yeah, that's right. I was just wondering, what was the most awkward thing that happened on set?
Yeah, Roday.
I don't know if we really had that many awkward moments. Like awkward?
Nobody had any pride or shame on that show.
That's really true. Yeah, I mean, I remember one time I was leaving work, and I'm driving along the highway, and I guess some of the crew had realized that I was driving, or I was in a van, and they pulled up next to me, and next thing I know, there's like, I'm seeing ass cheeks.
Marco.
The same Marco Ciccone who would give the espressos and give the limoncellos.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's right.
Brother, I did not need to see that at the end of the day.
A moving moon, I remember that, yeah.
A bad moon rising.
Next up.
Hi, first off, I just wanted to say your hair looks awesome.
Thank you very much, thank you.
But I have a question. Sean's basically like my role model because he's so awesome, and he's always so cool and confident and able to get all the girls. How does that work? How do you do it?
You just gotta get yourself a team of writers, man.
And make sure that one of them is very, very tall.
Yeah.
So do you think in real life Sean Spencer would be getting all the girls?
Sean, I think he would probably do okay, just because he's incredibly perseverant, and he kind of just, I think he wouldn't stop until...
I think he would also get a lot of restraining orders.
Yeah.
Next up.
Okay, I have a really important question. It's really controversial, so I want to know if you enjoy pineapple on your pizza.
Yes, I do.
And?
I guess if it's a yes or no, I'm gonna have to go no.
We have split the audience. Next question was.
Okay, so my question is, if you could change places as characters, which ones would you choose?
I would love to play Lassiter. I think Tim Robinson did a great job with that character, and he was just such a guy that you love to hate. At least, from my side, it would be a fun role to play. And he has great hair.
So many jokes that I could make that I won't. I think I'm gonna have to go Woody. It's like the one character on our show that sort of existed in his own special show. It's like no rules really applied to him. That was a fun gig to watch. Kurt's awesome. It's fun to watch him do that.
How much of your character is part of your personality? Like, if we know Gus and Sean, how well do we know you guys?
I think when you get lucky enough to be on a show that runs as long as Psych did, you start off playing characters, and by the end, the line gets really blurry. You know, it's funny. I think you could probably make an argument that at the beginning we were sort of playing against type, both of us. Dulé is a lover of life and people and food and joy and experiences. I'm a little more reclusive than that, and we were playing the opposite, both of us. He was all buttoned up and I was crazy and flying by the seat of my pants. But by the end, you realize you're going to spend a good chunk of your life living in this character's skin for a really long time. It becomes impossible to not start sort of stamping these characters with who you are. We put so many jokes in the show that were born from like us at a bar or us making jokes during in between takes and stuff. I think you start playing characters and by the end it's like, wow, there's a lot of me in there for sure.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right, hey guys. So you guys had a lot of guest stars from the 80s and the 90s. Which guest star did you wish was on the show that did not appear?
Well, it's no secret that I had the bright idea to get all 5 members of the Breakfast Club on our show. And we fell one short. Emilio! Yeah, that's right, Emilio.
We're talking about you.
So that was that's a box that remains unchecked. If only there was more Psych coming. I don't know.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. That's Emilio Estevez would be.
Yeah, that's our answer.
Yeah. And if I didn't like his father so much, I would say, damn you, Emilio.
So playing a psychic, did you get any inspiration from television psychics, mentalists, magicians, comic books, or was it just your ideal of what a psychic was?
I did, if I recall correctly, I did do minimal research. I did go see a couple of psychics, but I think because I was playing a charlatan, because I was playing someone who's full of it, I felt a lot less responsible for sort of accurately portraying what a psychic actually does. I did find it interesting to go and sit with someone who, who's not full of it, who does sort of channel those energies and takes it very seriously. But ultimately, I mean, I kind of just, not unlike Sean Spencer, I was sort of just winging it.
Next up.
Hi.
Hi, I was just wanting to know if you guys are as good as the singers as you appear on the show.
Was it something I said? Baby, I gotta know. Was it something I did? Darling, tell me so. Woke up in the morning and in the evening and I tossed and turning in my bed. Was it something I said? It's gotten into your head. That's what we pull that one out.
That is a deep cut.
You see what I'm saying? I pulled that one out.
So that was like the 60s guy?
Yeah. Tim Meltricker's episode.
All of the singing I did on the show was replaced by Depeche Mode frontman Dave Gahan. So I gotta give Dave all the credit on that one. Yeah.
Shout, let it all out. These are the things he can do without Shimon. Talking to you.
What's up?
Pretty great to be able to play Michael Jackson on.
Oh man, that was I couldn't ask for a better situation. And John Landis, who actually directed Michael Jackson in the Thriller video, directed that episode. So I had on, the penny loafers with the leather jacket and the jerry curl, moonwalking on stage, a crowd screaming, even though they were told to scream. And John Landis in the wings directing. I felt like Michael, man. I really felt like Michael.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, but speaking of which, that actually came to life. That was something that happened off camera. The end of season 1, Roday and I were filming near the end of the season. I think Steve Franks was up there, and we were just delirious from being on set so late. We started cracking each other up saying how funny it would be if Roland Ensemble and Michael Jackson were singing Shout. And we were cracking each other up. And I think Steve saw it, and then that's when they came up with the idea of, you know what, we're gonna do that next season. We're gonna make an episode around it.
And you considered just making that an end credits bit originally.
I think so, yeah, and we saved it. I'm glad we did, because it wouldn't have been nearly as much fun.
Next question.
My name's Cade. I just had a curiosity. We all love Psych, and we're wondering how much of it was actually ad-libbed.
You know, the early years, we were all sort of finding our own way, including the writing staff. Like, we weren't exactly sure what the show was. We all sort of had ideas of what it could be. And I think as a result, the process was pretty loose. You know, a script would come up and it would just say, Sean has a psychic moment, or Sean has an episode. And that would be it, with like a period at the end. And so, you know, especially in that first season, it was sort of like, well, what does that mean? What is an episode? What is a psychic moment? And a lot of times it would just be me, like, or us walking into whatever set we were shooting in and making something up. And that's kind of how the psychic, sort of the bigger, crazier, physical psych episodes were born. And from that, everybody was like, okay, we sort of think we might have a little blueprint now. And I think it progressively got less and less as the show went on, once everybody sort of wrapped their brains around what we did and what we could get away with and all that stuff, so. But we had a fantastic set of writers. Once we sort of dialed in and found our guys, we never let go of them, and they wrote us great stuff. So I'd say a lot of that sort of improvisation, like the heavier improvisation, was happening at the very beginning, yeah.
And speaking of psychic episodes, this cat one day, speaking of first season, I was home in my apartment. I was off that day. He calls me up and says, "Dude, what are you doing?" I said, "Man, I'm sleeping, taking it easy." "Oh, you mind coming in? We got something we got to do. We got something I think we might be very funny."
I go all nasally when I pitch.
I was like, "What is it? Just come on through, man. Just come on over. Well, you know, it's gonna be funny." So I get to set, and then he goes, "Oh, great, Dulé's here. Yeah. Can you just have him come up on stage and just stand there, and I'm gonna use your head as a magic head." That reaction really was more me being like, "Roday, I cannot believe you got me out my bed to come stand here and do this."
All right, we have about 5 minutes left, so let's do a lightning round where we answer their questions as quick as possible. Next question.
So, I'm Matt. My question is for you, James Roday.
Yeah.
In season 3, episode 2, do you think Sean regrets standing up Abigail Lightar?
I mean, I think I think Abigail was part of Sean's journey, but I think we all know that Sean's supposed to be with Jules.
Great question. Next.
Hello, Black and Tan.
Hello.
If Sean and Gus were given a time capsule, what would they put into it?
Winky Cuto.
Winky Cuto.
Yes. On the episode 100 Clues.
And a pineapple.
The 100th episode, 100 Clues.
On that episode, they have a person named Clisby. Where did that name come from?
I can't remember why they named him. I do, actually. I think they got enamored with the idea of the lisp. So they wanted something that had a in it. And they probably just workshop names that sounded funny as going Cliffy. People got paid to do that. That's their job.
All right, so on Psych, you guys make a lot, you scream a lot. and you make a lot of sounds that don't always seem like someone could actually make. Do you guys make all those noise, or do they ever sound effects that, or how does that work?
That all comes from us, from the bosom of the belly.
Who needs the Wilhelm scream when they got you? All right, next.
Did you end up eating all the pineapples? And if so, how did you like eating them? What was your favorite way?
I don't think it would have been possible for anyone to eat that much pineapple. We use them more as museum pieces.
There's a lot of mold on them now.
Did you hear about Pluto? It's messed up, right?
What?
So my question is actually, what are the chances that we will ever get like a reunion episode or anything?
Roday.
Let's see. Well, let's just take a step back very briefly and look at the facts. One, Dulé and I have never done a con before. I mean, that's kind of weird. All of a sudden, here we are with you guys. Look, we can neither confirm nor deny that something is in the works. What we can say is that we have the best fans in the world, and every time we go on social media or meet one of you anywhere, the appetite to have more Psych is not lost on us. So while we can't say yes or no, we can say thank you, and we can also say, oh, and don't go trying to get information out of Zachary Levi, because he doesn't know anything either.
You just made a lot of people happy.
I didn't say anything.
Nope. And neither is Zachary Levi. He's not saying anything either.
Hey, hi. My question is, have either of you made it hard for the other to stay in character while filming?
All the time. All the time.
That was my real job.
They really could have had a camera shooting what was happening off camera when we were filming our scenes. One of my favorite things that I used to like to do was, say if the line was, whatever the line was, if it was full of energy, yo, come on man, let's go over there and make a left. When the camera would be on Roday, I would turn around and go, come on man, let's go over there and make a left. Dude, how am I supposed to act off of that?
Or sometimes you just wouldn't be there.
I've done that too. I've actually walked away in the middle of a take.
The clock is ticking out. This is our last question.
This is it. No pressure.
Will you say 3-hole punch?
Will I what?
Say 3-hole punch.
3-hole punch.